My biofuel video project on ethanol. The background of ethanol. It has been used as a fuel since 1826. In the 1850s, it was used as a lighting fuel until it was taxed as a liquor to help pay for the Civil War. When the tax was repealed, it was used as a fuel again. It was even used to fuel Henry Ford's Model T in 1908. It was used as an octane booster in the 1920s and 30s when blended with gasoline. Because of World War II's fuel shortages, it was in high demand. When petroleum-based fuel became expensive, what is known as today's ethanol industry began in the 1970s. Ethanol is primarily made from field corn grown in Nebraska. It is cultivated with the standard corn farming processes: planting, fertilizing, watering, weeding, and harvesting. Some focuses for growing ethanol corn are selecting high starch corn varieties, managing pests and diseases, and optimizing fertilization and irrigation. Ethanol is produced from corn. For corn to grow, it must make its own food through photosynthesis. This means the corn takes in water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide to make its own food. The corn is milled into a flour, mixed with water, and cooked into a mash. This mash is cooled and yeast is added to ferment the sugars into ethanol. In this process, the starch in the corn kernels is being broken down into sugar and then being turned into a liquid. The protein and fiber solids left over from making the ethanol are used as a high-quality livestock feed. Ethanol can also be produced from the natural hormone ethylene found in plants. A chemical process called hydration occurs where the ethylene reacts with water. There are two types of ethanol, first and second generation. The first generation ethanol, made with corn, is widely used industrially. The second generation ethanol, or 2GE, is still in development. The second generation is being made with alternative sources like wood chips and grasses. Ethanol has a generally positive impact on the carbon footprint in comparison to gasoline. This is because it emits significantly less carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide that is released when burning ethanol is offset by the carbon dioxide captured during the growth phase of corn to produce it. This biofuel has a very significant economic impact. Some of the positive economic effects of ethanol are more job availability in rural areas that farm the corn, increasing GDP by its production and related industries, and helping farmers and workers in the ethanol industry provide more for their families. The main economic downfall is higher crop prices, which make land more expensive. There are a few ways that ethanol's use has been communicated with the public. One is the government's policies that encourage ethanol's use. This policy is called the Renewable Fuel Standard, or RFS. It mandates that billions of gallons of ethanol be blended into diesel and gas each year. Some other ways are public awareness programs that aim to inform the public about the benefits of using ethanol gas, and these are done by workshops and seminars. Another thing the government does to communicate with the public is tax incentives. These tax incentives are offered to consumers and producers of ethanol. This encourages consumers to use gas with ethanol blended in, and for producers to continue making and selling ethanol fuels. Based on my research, the ethanol situation has advantages and disadvantages. The reduction of greenhouse gas emissions is definitely important since it is technically better for our air than gasoline. It also helps us to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels since it is a renewable resource. The challenges that come with ethanol's usage are the need for land space to grow crops. Another disadvantage of ethanol is that it breaks down faster than gasoline. This can cause clumps to form, which can clog the fuel system. The next steps for ethanol are research to improve its efficiency and getting more public awareness. Since it would be better for the environment, educating the public would enable more support and funding of research to enhance the efficiency of this biofuel. If funding were not an issue, I recommend more research should be done to increase the efficiency of ethanol production as a first step. This would include funding projects to develop drought-resistant crops for making ethanol. My second step would be following sustainable practices and having crop management. Next, I would have support from the government and policies and regulation. Then I would focus on public outreach and ensuring that citizens know about ethanol's benefits. Lastly, I would add monitoring and evaluations to find the impacts in our environment from ethanol's use in manufacturing. Here are the sources I used for this information. Thank you for watching.